Hi everyone, this is Julianne Victoria of Through the Peacock's Eyes. It is New Year's Eve, so December 31st, 2020, and I had this idea to do this special reading for each of the zodiac signs for the year of 2021. But it's not just a tarot reading. Last year I did the diving into 2020, and I realized in retrospect that me doing that readings was a sign that 2020 was going to be an unusual year. So hopefully 2021 is better for all of us out there. I have had my Vedic Astrology 2021 horoscope readings for each sign out for a while. If you haven't checked that out and want to take a look at that to see something maybe a little bit more practical every day, check that out. But this reading, and I think I'm going to call them what we need to weave together to create our dreams in 2021. It's going to be titled something like that. I haven't figured it out. And that is because of the two decks I'm going to use. So the first deck, I will pull one card from the Weaver's Oracle. And this is sort of like a deck where we get messages from the ancestors, especially the grandmothers. And what I'm going to do, oh, interesting, I just pulled to the page of Sun. What I'm going to do, so there's two pages for each of the cards. What I'm going to do for this reading is to read her yarn, because these readings are of what yarns do we need to gather up to weave together our dreams for 2021. Sort of like dream weaving, not the dream time dream weaving, but the dream weaving meaning what do we want to create and how are we going to create what we want? Okay. Now, what I'm thinking I will do mid-year in 2021, I haven't decided. We'll see how the year goes. The first half of the year goes, is that in the second half, I will read from the same card for each sign, the braid and the cloth sections. But for this, I'm just going to read the yarn. So one card from the Weaver's Oracle, and then from the Yarn of Mama Shamana deck, which I used last year for the 2020, diving into 2020 readings. I'm going to pull, it's a two-part deck, as you can see, it comes in two parts. These are the backs. There are picture cards, and they're called metaphor cards. And then there are saying cards. I'll just show the back. It's just plain white for that. So it's basically three cards for each sign. And what yarn? It's not going to give you something specific, like you need a new car and you need a new resume or something. You're going to have to take from it what resonates with you. And that's going to give you an important piece for inner work, possibly shadow work, for self-healing, inner healing, for motivation, for inspiration for the year of 2020, so that you can take these yarns that come up for you and weave them into the different aspects of your life to create what you want. So that's my goal with this. We'll see how it turns out. Let me know in the comments how these resonate with you, because this is sort of an experimental reading as well. And people always ask, you can listen to this based on your Western astrology sun sign. You can also listen to your ascendant and moon to get more pieces of yarn, more different colors of yarn, size of yarn to weave together for the year ahead. So this will be fun. This will be interesting. Let me know how it goes. Thank you for being here, and on to the individual readings. Hi, Taurus. Welcome to your dream weaving reading for 2021. We'll begin with the Weaver's Oracle. And you get Owl, ancestor of the cold earth home. And I'll put the picture of the card on screen while I'm reading your yarn, but let's pull that up here. Okay, Owl. Ancestor of the cold earth home, she shatters the grave pots, her yarn. The appearance of the ancestor woman who lived close by the grave mounds was always startling. She was known as Voilu, the death owl. She was hunched and frail, with bony arms, legs bowed out by age, and thin feet bound in filthy rags. Her hollow breasts were bared above the layers of hide and rough weave strung around her waist. She wrapped her hands with cloth that she had dubbed with soil scraped from the burial grounds, her fingernails thus blackened with human dust. Her hair from the dead was knotted into her own braids. Leg bones of deer, horse, wolf, and lynx rattled from her girdle because she honored the end journey for all swift runners on the moor. She had long been the hag of graves and watched the community from the edge, silent as the death owl of her own witching. There was a twin sister who lived on rocky ground high above the settlement, where few ventured, but their paths rarely touched. Her world was down in the valleys, amongst the dying and the dead, bereavement and lamentation. Yet strangely, her home was also filled with life. She made pots with clay scooped from the grave mounds and cooked in the cremating fires, one pot for each new life born into the tribe. Many clay vessels were piled around her hut, in which she stored bitter herbs and pungent resins. She inhabited this place of pots and shadows quite alone, until those inevitable nights when her name was called as people's cries grew anguished. Then she would step from her dark hut into their darkening grief. She laid out the dead and wrapped the shroud, smoothing out creases of pain, softening edges where the death journey had cut deep. As a mother of death, she guided the body to its cold earth home, preparing rituals at the burning fire, stone tomb, and cairn. Then she would take the clay pot, no longer a vessel of life, and smashed it in the ground to join the other fragments scattered all about, flung down over time to release souls when those who had once lived passed from the earth. She gathered the herbs and resins that fell there to fuel the flames that cleaned the bones. When her tasks for the dead were duly done, her concern lay with the mourners. She clattered animal jawbones loudly to draw the focus of the people to her. Then she led the keening chants. She directed their grief into the rituals, took on its heavy burden so that the pain of loss might not be overwhelming. Indeed, there was much healing to be found within her shadowed realm. She sang the dead into the heart of the land and sang the people back to the bright morning. And her lullaby lament rose high above the valleys, up to distant rocky peaks, touched by the sun. Okay, that's powerful, Taurus. Okay, so now let's do your card from the yarn of Mama Shamana. I showed you the deck already. Your picture card. And remember, these are metaphor cards. So the image is going to resonate with each Taurus out there differently. So this is your picture card. The wolf and the girl or the woman facing opposite directions in a boat. Okay, and let's do your phrase card from the yarn of Mama Shamana. There is no one to awaken them. And I'll hold that up with the picture card in case you want to work with that together. You can pause the video and take a screenshot. Journal on this, revisit it, pull some of your own cards on it. So 2 more pieces of yarn. So 3 pieces of yarn, Taurus, to explore with, to look within with, to do some introspection, journal on, and see how that can help you weave together your dreams for 2021. Thank you for being here, Taurus, and have a wonderful year.